Here I am, Brandon Walker, more Cowbell. We're back on a Monday. A Monday here in the SEC Country Studios. It's beautiful outside. It's 52 degrees and gray. That's exciting. Got the Shrekking crew on the other side of the glass. All male Shrekking crew today. Landshark not here. Thank goodness. It's about time. Got my man Nate in there. Got Patrick. Got Terp on the video. Terp never does a video for me, but I'm very excited. He's doing the video today. Nate, how are you?
I'm staying alive. How about you?
Great. Nate, don't ever talk again on the show. So, we have got a fun-filled show today. We've got funtivities. So many activities on the show today. Mississippi State coach Joe Moorhead will be joining me, that's me, Brandon Walker, on my show in about, 5 or 6 minutes. He'll be here. As soon as we rev up the podcast, we'll go ahead and shoot to Joe Moorhead. We'll talk to him about recruiting. We'll talk to him about the spring game. We'll talk to him about Nick Fitzgerald. We'll talk to him about everything you want us to talk to him about. I am very, very excited about this. Hail State from Burnsville. Hello, Mike L. Elledge. Burnsville up in Tishomingo County. Hello, Brandon. I'm back. Stan C. Riddle. Joshua Watts checking in from Colorado. We'll also talk about the recruiting. Boy, since I left you last on Thursday, the recruiting is just keeps going up and up. Thursday afternoon got a big-time 4-star commitment. Friday afternoon got a big-time 4-star commitment. It's I'm not used to this. I'm not used to what's happening in Mississippi State recruiting. Hail State from Byram. Again, about 5 minutes, we'll go to Joe Moorhead. We'll have an interview with Joe Moorhead here on the show. I'm very excited about it. Got a lot of people here today. I want to just introduce this show, More Cowbell, a Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. Come to you every single day here on Facebook Live at 10:45 Central Time. So if you're just visiting because of the Moorhead interview, please make sure you check us out every single day because we have fun. Hail State from Arizona, Alan Robinson. Abby Lauren says Hail State, hashtag Hail State, ready for the spring. Make sure you check us out every single day. Why? We're 3 minutes into the show. I just bragged about my all-male Shrekking crew. We're 3 minutes into the show, and you're already messing up. Terp, get your mans in them. Get them. Hail State B. Walker, thank you, Benny Aaron. Luke Hemphill checking in from Jacksonville, Florida. Boyd Barnett says you're killing it, Brandon. Great job. Thank you very much. Grace Thacker Good checking in from Greenwood. Grenada, Mississippi is here. David Brown. Haven't seen Grenada here in a while. Brian Wesley Lawrence says that was weird. Yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird sometimes. Joe Moorhead coming up in about 4 minutes. Can you stop saying, "Are you ready?" when starting the podcast? Says Ray Leno. Ray, if that's what you like, I'll stop doing it. Yes, I will stop saying it. What should I say? What can replace "Are you ready"? Hey, are we ready?
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
I swear to God, Nate. Nate, I don't know why you have a microphone. I did not sign off on you having a microphone. I like Terp to have the microphone, but somehow Terp gave you the microphone. You've never been on the show, and now you're saying things like "Welcome to the Thunderdome." This is not going to happen on More Cowbell. It's a big day. We got Joe Moorhead coming in. Everybody look sharp. Look sharp. Speaking of looking sharp, look at me in my Maroon and Company polo here. Is that a good-looking shirt? Yeah, that's a good-looking shirt. Indianola, Mississippi, all hail King Joe. Wes Stroud checking in. Pocahontas, Mississippi, Trevor Spence. 3-2-1, go. Amy Hall, she says that's what I should do, so that's what I'm going to do from now on. If you've just joined us, we start the podcast every day at about 52 after the hour, and that's when we'll get rolling in just a second. As I let everybody get in here, I let the Facebook Live audience build. I talk to you. We have a good time. And then Joe Moorhead coming up in 3 minutes. Hail State from Carthage, Mississippi, Mike Cat Stokes. Utica, Mississippi, Kevin Fowler. Starkville is checking in. Chattanooga is here. Jason Collins. Quitman, Mississippi. Jason Collins says, "Welcome, Coach Joe." He'll be here shortly. It'll be audio. He's not going to be in the studio with me. That would be. I don't think he would come to Atlanta and do a show with me. Although he might. Seems like a great guy. Seems like a down-to-earth guy. Cleveland, Mississippi checking in. Brandon, Mississippi. Rankin County, Alex Giles. Forest, Mississippi, got a lot of new faces here today. Got a lot of new faces. A lot of people excited about having Joe Moorhead on the show, and I'm excited about having Joe Moorhead on the show. In addition to Joe Moorhead, we'll talk to him for about 10, 15 minutes, however long it goes. Then we'll talk about Joe Moorhead's outstanding recruiting. Ever since Thursday when I left you last, he has added 2 more 4 stars to the boat. I don't know what's happening. It's so exciting. Victoria Vivians gets drafted by the Indiana Fever in the WNBA. We'll talk about that a little bit. And at the end of the show, stay tuned. 2-minute drill. I got 5 questions for you. And Patrick. 3, 2, 1, go.
It's the More Cowbell Show, brought to you by SEC Country. And now, your host of the More Cowbell Show, Brandon Walker.
All right, that's me, Brandon Walker, More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. That is me ringing the bell to ring us in here on a Monday, a big-time Monday here at More Cowbell. Excited to be here today. Not you. I can't always say that because sometimes I just drag myself in here and I put myself in front of the microphone for you people. But today, I'm excited to be here because we have a guest. We have a guest on the show. Everybody make him welcome. His name is Joe Moorhead. He is the new head coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs. Joe Moorhead will be here in about 2 minutes. So we'll talk to Joe Moorhead about his recruiting. We'll talk about the spring game. We'll talk about Nick Fitzgerald. We'll talk about everything Mississippi State fans want us to talk about. I am so excited. I want to thank Bill Martin and the guys at Mississippi State for making this happen, for having Joe Moorhead on the show. I am the best Mississippi State podcast out there, so it only makes sense that Joe Moorhead would join this show. I am the best. He is the best. Hey, we got together. So there you go. Joe Moorhead coming up in just a second. We'll also talk about recruiting. Since I left you last Thursday, our last show, recruiting has picked up even more. It is just absolutely on fire right now at Mississippi State with the spring game coming up this weekend. Joe Moorhead and his coaching staff have added 2 4-stars since we last talked. Brandon Cunningham, an offensive tackle from the coast, and DeMonte Russell, a defensive end from Jackson. This recruiting is something the heck else. It is exciting. It is fantastic. We'll talk about that. Victoria Vivians gets drafted by the Indiana Fever. She's headed to Indiana in the WNBA with the number 8 overall pick, one of the most beloved players ever at Mississippi State University, regardless of sport. We'll talk about her. We'll talk about what the future may hold for her, and we'll celebrate her getting drafted to the Indiana Fever. And at the end of the show, if you've never been here before, if you've never done this, we'll have a 2-minute drill. We'll have 5 questions I ask you, our audience, and we'll interact together. You know, big time. We had Joe Moorhead today because the spring game is coming up this weekend. Mississippi State spring game coming up Saturday. It will be Saturday, there it is, 3 o'clock Central Time at Davis Wade Stadium. There'll be an autograph session from 10 to 11. You got everything, all the information right there, Mississippi State spring game info. Now, the reason I brought this up, Joe Moorhead, since he started, wants State fans to break the record. Want to have a record crowd at Mississippi State for this game, and that's why I've got the graphic up. And you know what? I'm excited. I'm going to be going to the spring game this weekend. I'm going to be there. I hope you're there as well. And like I said, this is a big day on More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. We've got a guest here on the show today, and he is the guy that you'll be going to see coach his first spring game this Saturday at Mississippi State. Joe Moorhead was hired in late November to be the next coach of the Mississippi State Bulldogs, and he is here on the show today. Coach Moorhead, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. Well, listen, it's an exciting spring. You were in your first year at Mississippi State. Obviously, you started coaching, right when you got here, but this is your first spring with the group. We're a few days away from the spring game. You've been campaigning to have as many fans as possible in the stadium for the game. Tell us, Coach, what will fans see when they watch this team take the field on Saturday?
They're going to see a very talented roster. They're going to see a coaching staff that's going to put them in position to be successful with our schemes and our motivation, and a program that's committed to the execution of the fine details. And I think that's going to be part of the thing that elevates us from good to great.
You mentioned a talented roster. How does the talent on this team compare to what you thought it was when you took the job?
No, very much so. And I had the luxury, when I first got hired, we're in here working on recruiting, and Coach Knox and his staff were busy with bowl prep and practices, and had a chance to go out there and catch some of the practices and evaluate. So relative to the schemes that we're going to implement in all three phases, and how it fits into the talent that we have on the roster, I think it's an excellent match.
When you arrived, Mississippi State's starting quarterback was a couple of days removed from a terrible injury, but it seems like he's been more active in the spring than fans might have thought he was going to be. He's been out there throwing the ball around a little bit. How would you evaluate Nick Fitzgerald's spring so far?
Well, if you didn't know any different, just the yellow jersey would be the only thing that kind of differentiates him from anyone else. But, he comes out and he does everything that everyone else does aside from team drills. And, we just want to keep him away from a live rush. Coach Browner's doing a great job. Nick's doing all the 7-on-7s, all the other drills. So I'm pleased from a mental and physical standpoint. We're very pleased with where he's at.
Coach, a lot of talent on this team offensively and defensively. The running back position is stocked. Kylan Hill coming back for a sophomore season. Aris Williams been here for 4 years. What have you taken away from that running back position so far this spring?
Plus Lee and Gibson and some of the other guys,
right,
too. Not just the talent at the top end of it, but the depth. As you go through, the whole running back stable there, and Coach Huff's going to do a great job with those guys, like he did with Saquon and the rest of our backs up at Penn State. So I think, with us being an offensive system whose success is predicated on our ability to run the ball successfully, to set up the downfield passing game, between our line, our tight ends, and our backs, I think we're going to be able to do some things on the ground and be very exciting.
Coach, it's obvious out there, if you talk to State fans, they are very excited about what's happening on the recruiting trail right now. Your staff is out there aggressively. You guys are killing it. What do you attribute your recent success on the recruiting trail to? Really,
I just attribute it to our plan and our staff. There was, you hear some things about, well, they're coming down from the north. Can they recruit in the south? And listen, there's a certain regional aspect to it, but if you can recruit, you can recruit. If you can't, you can't. And I think we've got a good plan in place. I think our staff understands from an identification and evaluation standpoint who we want to go after. And we ain't going to back down from anybody. So if there's a kid that we evaluate and, build a relationship with the coach and the kid and his family and get him on campus, and, we're going to go hard after him. So I think, we've seen some success thus far. There's still a long way to go, but, we're going to do what we do. And, hopefully it's going to continue to reap dividends down the road.
I like what you just said. People said, they're from the north. Can they recruit down here? Did you guys take that as a challenge?
I don't take it as, listen, no one needs to challenge me for anything. I'm just saying no one rises to low expectations. I'm competitive in everything I do. So the fact that, that kind of thought process was out there really didn't bother me because, I knew what our plan was and what we were going to do to make it happen. So I view everything as a challenge. So if that was a challenge, I guess the answer would be yes. But anything I'm involved in where they're keeping score, I want to win. So I guess the short answer to that is yes, but the long answer is not really, didn't bother me, and specifically, I guess, so to speak.
So your background is as an offensive coach. One of your first things you did here was bring in Bob Shoop to coach the defense. There's a lot of talent on this defense. Jeffrey Simmons, Montez Sweat. I could go on and on about the talent on this defense. What's been your outlook on the defense this spring with Shoop in his first spring as well?
No, Coach is doing a great job, and with my involvement in the offense, one of the guy who I can trust, who's had a track record of success, and has a certain level of autonomy with me being in the offensive room. But going against this front and this back end every single day with, like you said, Sweat and Jeffrey doing some things, Braxton and Rivers and Green, and then the linebacking core and guys on the back end who could cover and hit. I mean, it's been like a 15-round bout every practice. It goes to the card, and I think that's what you want. You don't want a spring ball or a fall camp where one side's kicking the other's tail on a consistent basis because that usually leads to a bad season. So there's been a tremendous amount of competition, throughout the course of a practice and spring ball. So that's been very exciting.
So this spring has been your first with the team. Have you learned anything about this team over the last 3 or 4 weeks that you didn't know before spring practice?
Not necessarily that I didn't know 100%. I mean, I've seen that our kids love to compete. They're going to work hard. They're coachable. They're going to do what you ask them to do. But our challenge to elevate this thing from good to great is, I asked them yesterday we've had one winning record in the SEC in the last 15 years. And, what we got to do to elevate this from a team that's good to a team that competes for a championship is to do the little things and have great attention to detail, discipline, accountability, work ethic, and selflessness. So, we got to figure out a way to add the little things to the talent and the coaching.
All right, so you mentioned going from good to great. I think that's a big thing for Mississippi State fans. We've been good for a while, and great is something that State fans are hungry for. In your eyes, what makes for a successful 2018 season?
That's a good question. I kind of talked about this the other day, that to me there's levels of success. You have the ceiling and you have the floor. The ceiling is winning the SEC, qualifying for the playoffs and winning a national championship. The floor is, making a bowl and winning it. So I think there's varying degrees of success within that. But certainly, if I didn't come here talking about winning the SEC and competing for a national championship, then Mr. Cohen hired the wrong guy. So I'm not going to insult, this school, this state, or this city, by, just saying, hey, we're happy with a bowl. I mean, that's listen, we're going to be excited about it if that happens, but we're certainly not going to say, hey, that's our ultimate, thing that we want to do for the season to end. We're going to try to win the whole dang thing.
As you've gotten out there and blanketed this state and really the entire region, but really the state of Mississippi, as you've gotten out there and started recruiting this state, what's been the reaction you and your staff have gotten from high school coaches and maybe fans out there at small towns and small schools around the state?
No, it's been incredibly positive, and I can see now why Mississippi's such a great state for high school football and college football, that there's very, very passionate people for all the schools here, and I think that how we had our high school coaches clinic last week. There are about 250, 300 coaches here, and talking ball with them, getting them out to practice, and going out to the schools. I think the response has been overwhelmingly positive, just because they see that we're vested in the players in this state, and you want to bring them here and help develop them, students as people and as players, and help bring a championship to Mississippi.
All right, Coach, that's all the serious questions. We're going to let you get out of here very shortly. On this show, we do a 2-minute drill with real quick, 10, 15-second answers, very easy questions. I got a couple more questions for you. You're new to the South. What's been your favorite food you've been introduced to so far?
Fried catfish with tartar sauce and hot sauce.
That did not take long at all. That was an immediate answer. When you're on the road recruiting, which music are you playing in the car?
Either 90s hip-hop and R&B, or country. So it'd be channel 43, 47, or one of the 50s on Sirius XM.
Coach, what's your favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? This is going to sound crazy. I got or three. It's one for each sport. The Natural, Hoosiers, or All the Right Moves.
Hoosiers is the correct answer, Coach. We approve of that.
Okay, thank you.
How many? And last question: how many Cowbells do you own right now, Coach? How many Cowbells?
I'm looking at 3 on my shelf right now, and I can't tell you the number that I got in my house. So if we're putting an over/under number on it, I'm going to say 40, and the smart money's probably on the over.
That is fantastic. Listen, Coach Moorhead, Joe Moorhead, Mississippi State's coach, I appreciate you taking the time. Everybody's excited. Spring game this week. Joe Moorhead wants a record crowd. I think we should give it to him. Coach, one last thing to say to Mississippi State fans as they come to Davis Wade Stadium to see this team play for the spring.
Hey, let's break this record. Hail State, y'all.
I want to tell you, I thank you for Joe Moorhead for being here. Thank you to the coach for taking time out of his very busy schedule to be here on More Cowbell, the best Mississippi State podcast here on SEC Country. I'm very excited. A couple things he mentioned there. He mentioned, State. He mentioned having higher expectations. Making a bowl isn't everything he is looking for. He is not happy with making a bowl. He is wanting to compete for national and SEC championships. Now, that's easy for anybody to say, but I really feel like this guy means it. I feel like this guy has the drive and the competitiveness and hopefully the coaching skill. We'll see. Everything is great so far, but I think this is the guy that might be able to do it. He also said we only have one winning season in the SEC in the last 15 years. The fact that he is aware of that, the fact that he has gone back and found that out, tells me all I need to know about this guy's priorities. This guy isn't coming in and he isn't saying whatever happened in the past is in the past. He isn't saying, all right, Mississippi State's good, I'm just going to make them a little better. He is saying we have had one winning SEC season in the last 15 years. I'm about to change that, and I am excited. As a Mississippi State fan, listening to that guy talk, I could listen to him talk all day long. He has gotten me fired up so often. I don't want to bring up our last coach, but so often our last coach just felt like he was talking just to get to the end of the interview. This guy seems like he would talk about Mississippi State football and how he's going to improve it and the championships he's going to win all day long. And I don't know how you can listen to this guy talk and not get excited about the season. I've got guys on the Facebook Live right now saying, I wish the season could start right now. Me and you both. I wish they would move the season up 4 months because I am ready. I'm ready to see this guy coach. I'm ready to see this team. This team is loaded. They've got talent, and this is a hell of a football coach we've got. Whew. Man, this is an exciting day on More Cowbell. I want to thank Joe Moorhead for being here. We're going to go ahead and transition into something else, but that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Now, we're not done with football, though, because Joe Moorhead, talking to me, he can't talk specifically about recruits, but he can tell you what his mindset is in recruiting. And he did not look at it as, I'm from the North, I can't recruit in the South. No, that dude is recruiting everywhere. He's got a 4-star from Nashville, a 4-star from Charlotte. And over the weekend, Thursday and Friday, he got 2 more 4-stars. One from the coast, Brandon Cunningham, a 4-star offensive tackle from the coast, from down there at St. Martin, I believe, was committed to Miami. And then DeMonte Russell, a defensive end out of Jackson Provine High School, committed on Thursday. This is a level of recruiting we haven't seen in a long, long time. I looked at it the other day. You could have knocked me over with a feather. A 4-star offensive tackle is committed to Mississippi State. I thought it was illegal for Mississippi State to recruit 4-star offensive linemen. I forgot what they look like. I forgot what it meant, what it felt like to have a coaching staff with the drive to go out and get big-time offensive linemen. But here they are, and here comes Brandon Cunningham, a 4-star beast from the coast. Everything is looking up, and if you look at the commits we've got so far, all the way down the list, I think we've got 6 4-stars committed right now, and we've got 5 of those 4-stars in the last 10 days. So the momentum is there. If you listen to people behind the scenes, there might be some more momentum building this weekend going into the spring game. So recruiting going very well right now. Garrett Schrader, I want to talk about him. 4-star quarterback out of Charlotte. All he did this weekend, by the way, was go to the Charlotte Elite 11 camp over there in, Charlotte. He went to the Elite 11 camp there and finished 3rd in testing. Now, the Spark testing they do is testing their speed, their strength, their agility, their jumping, everything. It's their athletic testing. Quarterbacks normally don't finish near the top. This guy finished 3rd. He finished 3rd. He had a ridiculously high Spark rating, which tests your overall athleticism. Very, very exciting. Jalen Jones, the former Mississippi State commit, just committed to Florida, finished 20th. So I'm just saying, 6'5", 200 pounds athlete. Garrett Schrader, he's going to be a big-time player at Mississippi State. He's going to get big-time coaching. Joe Moorhead is going to give him that. But Cunningham committing to State, Russell committing to State. Look at the defense. Look at the defensive commitments Mississippi State has right now. You got Charles Moore from Louisville, a 4-star / 5-star defensive lineman, DeMonte Russell. Ani Ezechiku, who committed last week. I mean, this defensive recruiting class could be one of our best defensive classes in school history. And it's just getting started. It's just getting started. When I asked Moorhead, hey, tell me about your recruiting, and he gave me one of my favorite answers I've ever heard. He gave me he said, you can either recruit or you can't. And this guy can. Oh, man. Victoria Vivian's one of my favorite players ever, one of your favorite players ever. She got drafted to the Indiana Fever of the WNBA last week. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because we're already over time a little bit. But Victoria Vivian's one of my favorites. I just wish she'd gone out with a national title. We all wish that. But I can't remember a player that represented state any better than she did. I can't remember a player that improved as much from her junior to her senior year. She has been an absolute delight to follow at Mississippi State. She has been one of our best ambassadors we could have ever hoped to have, and now her dream is coming true. She was the number 8 overall pick to go to the Indiana Fever. This is big for her, and I'm just so excited to see her go to the next level and to be able to become a professional basketball player. And that's as Mississippi State women's basketball continues to build a legacy as a program over the next couple of years, we'll remember Victoria Vivians and the others that were on this team as the start of whatever is to come. Now, 2-minute drill. 2-minute drill. Got 5 questions for my Facebook Live people. Go ahead and get that started right now. Number 1, which current Mississippi State commit in the 2019 class are you most excited about? Which current, y'all don't have the list, that's fine. Which current 2019 commit are you most excited about? There's Garrett Schrader, the 4-star from quarterback. There's the 4-star Quentin Torbor, a wide receiver out of Louisiana. 4-star Charles Moore out of Louisville. DeMonte Russell out of Jackson Provine. There's Ani Ezechukwu. There's Brandon Cunningham. There's a ton here. Garrett Schrader, says Junior Ray. King Ani, says Kevin Wright. That King Ani looks like a beast. I mean, just an absolute beast. From Nashville, a 4-star defensive end from Nashville that was considering Alabama and Ohio State, and we got him. That's exciting. Schrader, the king, Schrader and Ani. The wide receiver from Louisiana, says Jay Hammers. Quentin Torbor. You know, the point of this question is all of them. All of them. And this is a level of recruiting in April that we haven't seen in a long time. You've got your quarterback of the future. You've got a wide receiver early, which wide receiver recruiting has been like pulling teeth for Mississippi State for the last 5 years. Just like offensive line recruiting. That's the most exciting part. We have been scraping the bottom of the barrel for wide receivers and offensive linemen and putting together what we could at the end of the class. Now, we got 4 stars lined up in April. That's different. That is different. I love this coaching staff. Number 2, which sport? I asked a similar question last week, so don't get confused. Which sport at Mississippi State, football, men's basketball, or women's basketball, will have the highest preseason AP ranking in 2018? Which will be ranked highest in the preseason? Football, basketball, or women's basketball? Is that annoying? What are you going to go with? What's your I think all 3 are going to be ranked. Drew Newell says women's basketball. I think they're probably going to be a top 10 team. I think they're going to be top 10 ranked. Everybody says women's basketball. That's probably the right answer. But all 3 are going to be ranked. I think state football will probably, I think they should be a little higher, but I'm going to guess they're going to be between 15 and 20 in the preseason AP poll. I'm going to guess in basketball they're going to be between 18 and 25 in the preseason poll. In women's basketball, I'm going to guess they're going to be between 5 and 10. That's where I think they'll be. So that's the right answer. Number 3, what's your favorite old restaurant in Starkville? What's your favorite restaurant that is no longer in business in Starkville that maybe you went to when you were there or you went to as a kid? What's your favorite defunct restaurant in Starkville? Defunct is a fun word. I noticed y'all switched microphones. You took the microphone away from him.
I have it back all the way up.
No.
I have it back.
Yeah.
I took my property back.
Good. Thank you. Nate was the worst. See what we got here. Old Venice. Is Old Venice out of business? I haven't been to Starkville in a while. Burger Chef, Flo and Eddie's, RIP. Flo and Eddie's was something else too. It burned down while I was at State. While I was in Starkville, excuse me. Richie's, Old Venice, Abner's, Cotton District Grill. I didn't even know Old Venice wasn't there anymore. I had no idea that it wasn't there anymore. Mr. Cook. I used to love Mr. Cook. Was it on University, I think? My mom used to bring it home to West Point when she would leave work in Starkville. Pollywogs. I had no idea Old Venice was gone. Is there anything in that building? Old Venice was delicious. You don't know. Oh, hey, by the way, look me in the eyes. I'm coming to the spring game. I don't have baseball tickets for Friday night, but if you want me in your left field lounge or your lounge, hit me up because I'll come sit with you because I need a ticket. I need a ticket. So hit up this account and say, hey, yeah, Brandon can come sit with us because I need to be there. I mean, I could get a media pass, but that's boring. And plus, those guys are all fat and smell bad. All right, number 4. Number 4 on today's 2-minute drill. What is the best TV show to binge watch? The best TV show to binge watch. Terp has an answer.
Hold on, I'm thinking still. I thought I had it, but I'm thinking.
Wow, that's awful. That's awful. I didn't know Old Venice was gone. I'm just worried about that. It has changed my entire day.
All right, I got it.
Go ahead.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones.
I can watch that all day.
You're such a nerd.
Yep.
Dexter, The Office, Lost, Breaking Bad, Stranger Things, Friends, The Office has 2 votes now. Homeland says Ginger Tuck. In the Heat of the Night, says Fred Kitchens. Dick Van Dyke Show, The Blacklist. Frasier. Frasier's a good show. Linda Pierce Dressman said that. Parks and Rec, also a good one. Martin Smith. Dexter. I think Bonnie Williamson Gable has answered twice. My mother says Sons of Anarchy, which tells you a lot about my upbringing. American Idol. But I was on season 12. Represent. Abby Lauren, you were on American Idol season 12? Wow, that's fantastic. We've got an American Idol contestant on the show. Stranger Things, Vikings, Peaky Blinders, or Game of Thrones. Cody Duncan with 3 shows. What is Peaky Blinders?
It's like a old mob show in like Britain or something.
In what?
Britain.
You hear how he doesn't pronounce his T's? Britain.
That's what it is.
It's the worst.
It's in Britain.
Number 5, which, not the one you want to win the most, not the one you're looking forward to the most, which 2018 game is most important to Mississippi State football? Which 2018 game is the most important for this particular season? Yes.
Okay, never mind.
All right. That's a dynamite drop-in, Terp. Thanks. You're really helping the show today. Which one's the most important? You know, we want to win the Florida game. We're out for blood that game. We got to win the Egg Bowl. We're out for blood that game. But are they the most important? Joshua Easterling says Alabama. 2 answers for Florida. 2 answers for Alabama. 3 for Alabama. Amy Hall. Steve Martin says Kansas State. Junior Ray says hope we kill Florida, but Alabama's the answer. Ole Miss can't lose to them 2 years in a row with our talent. Alabama, says Jason Brinson. Florida. I don't think anybody has said the answer that I'm going to give. Alabama and Ole Miss. Alabama. Abby Lauren and I are on the same page. The biggest game for Mississippi State this year, to me, I assume we're going to beat Florida. I assume we're going to beat Ole Miss. The biggest game on our schedule this year is Auburn. Auburn is going to be ranked ahead of us in the preseason. People think Auburn's the 3rd best team in the SEC. I think Mississippi State is. We've got them at home. Auburn is the game that put us at number 1 a couple of years ago, and I think Auburn is the game that turns this season from a good season into a potentially great season. We're going to beat Florida. We're going to beat Ole Miss. I don't know for a fact we're going to beat Auburn, but I feel really good about it. I think Auburn is the biggest game of 2018. And Auburn is always very important. I don't know why. Because it just seems like Auburn is always the difference between a decent little season and a really, really good season. You beat Auburn, you put yourself in position pretty much every year. And I don't mention LSU here this year because I think State's going to go down to Baton Rouge and just kill LSU. So LSU is important too, but Auburn is the one, the true 50-50 game that's at home that gives you a chance to take this from a decent season to a great season. Now, that's about it. That's the end of the 2-minute drill. I want to thank Joe Moorhead for being on the show today. These coaches are busy. He's out recruiting. Obviously, he's out recruiting because he's getting a 4-star every day. Listen, if he'd have asked me, I would have committed to Mississippi State just now. That's how impressed I was with him. So, but then again, if you can't get a commitment from a guy with 4 cowbells, 2 helmets, and a state shirt on, you probably don't need to be in the business. Now, but Joe Moorhead was fantastic. I really appreciate him being here. I appreciate what he brought to the table. It was an exciting day for more cowbell. We'll have more tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully, as we go towards the spring game, we'll be able to wrangle up another guest from Mississippi State football working on that. But until then, on the podcast, I'm going to drop you off. Facebook Live, I'll be right to you. On the podcast, thank you for listening. My name is Brandon Walker. You've been listening to More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country. All right. Amber K asked where my shirt's from. So I already said at the beginning of the show, told everybody, but this shirt is from Maroon & Company, at Maroon & Co. on Twitter, at maroonandco.com. This shirt, I got it online there at Maroon & Co. I love this shirt. It's a good-looking shirt. I also got this bell there. Highway 12, just behind Chick-fil-A over there in Starkville. Fantastic. The best place to go for Mississippi State gear. You go to that website, you'll get lost in it. I promise you. You'll get lost in it. I do it all the time. Best show yet, says Garrett Weaver. I've had some good shows. I'm very good at what I do. Have you heard the B&B Show's new segment, Matt Weisinger? What is it? I have not heard it. What is it? I don't often listen to the B&B Show because I have my own show. I listen to myself. And that's true. I listen to my show every day. Is that egotistical? A little bit? Yeah, that's fine. What's their new segment? Late to the show today. Nice haircut, BW. Thank you, Martin Smith. I appreciate it. What are the 3 important rules to breaking up? Dang it. It's a song, not a surf popular. 3 important rules to breaking up. Don't prolong breaking up when you know you want to. Do you know it? No, don't put the mic on. I don't remember the other 2 rules. Bob discussing the Game of Thrones. That's exciting. That is very exciting. I can't wait to not listen to Bob Karskadden talking about Game of Thrones. That is the most forward I've ever looked to not listening to something. Love Coach's interview. Hail Maroon and Whites, Jacksonville, Florida here. Hello, Michael O'Brien. Every show is good. Lynn Rhodes Gilmer, thank you very much. Lynn Rhodes Gilmer sent me a beautiful print last week for my birthday. Well, actually, I don't know if it was for my birthday. She just sent it. It happened to be my birthday. But she sent a beautiful print. I gotta frame it and put it right here. You saw it, the SEC mascots and everything.
How was your birthday?
It was good.
Good day.
When you get this age, your birthday really isn't a thing. Like it's a thing on Facebook and everybody says, "Oh, happy birthday," and it's a thing. I made it a thing on my show, but in real life, it's not a thing. Like I wake up, my wife says happy birthday, and that's it. That's pretty much it. I think they should name the segment "Can't Put a Finger on It." Jay Hammers. Hail State from Ringgold, Georgia, up I-75. Love the interview with Joe. Thank you, Micah Halfacre. I appreciate that. This is the best show SEC Country produces. Landon Miles. Landon was there when I did SEC Country Live the other day. I did SEC Country Live with Brandon Adams. Brought a lot of class to that show. Brought a lot of skill to that show. Check it out every day at 2 o'clock on SEC Country. Very good show. Are you coming Saturday? Yes, I am, Glenn Duncan. Do you think everyone is overlooking Charles Moore because he was hurt? He was the best player in Mississippi last year, Derek Ventura. I don't think anybody's overlooking Charles Moore. I think he's probably our best commitment right now. I hope nobody's overlooking Charles Moore because he is absolutely going to be a stud at the next level. The big defensive tackle, defensive lineman out of Louisville, Mississippi. Brandon Walker for President 2020. Seth Bowman. Let's let it breathe a little bit. Let's go 2024. 2024 will be a little better. I got some things I want to accomplish. I haven't broken all the laws I want to break yet, so let's get to 2024. Who do you think the next football commit will be? Well, since I'm not a coach, I can say who I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Jerry and Jones from Northwest Rankin. That's who I think it's going to be. I have no proof of that. I just think that's who it's going to be. You were better than the other Brandon, to be honest? Well, I'll have to tell him. Can we make sure Brandon Adams gets that comment?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I had a good time on that show, and I'm going to be on that show a couple times in the next couple of months, too, and I'll let you know when I'm going to be on there. Who's the best Fat John? Candy, Goodman, or Belushi? I got to be honest, that's one of my favorite questions I've ever received on here. Who asked that question? Ethan Fleury. Who is the best Fat John? John Candy, John Goodman, or John Belushi? Was John Belushi really fat? I mean, he was just kind of chubby. He wasn't fat like John Goodman and John Candy. But the answer, I'm going to have to order that. I'm going to have to go Candy number 1. I'm going to have to go Goodman number 2 and Belushi number 3. I think Belushi, it was fine, but John Goodman's really good, and I love John Candy. I love John Candy movies. We lost John Candy too soon.
Are these people?
Huh?
Are these people actors? I've heard of Belushi, but I don't know the other guys.
See, Candy's the answer. John Candy was in a bunch of movies. John Candy was in every movie that came out from 1988 to 92. You ever seen Cool Runnings?
Nope.
You ever seen The Great Outdoors?
Nope.
You ever seen Uncle Buck?
No. I haven't even heard of these. Ooh, I've heard of.
You ever seen Planes, Trains, Automobiles?
Yeah,
the fat guy.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
him. I like him. I didn't know his name.
Do we beat Florida in Starkville, Jim Call? Yes, we do. We do. We absolutely do. But it'll be closer than you want it to be. Florida's going to be better than than everybody thinks they are. I think Florida's going to finish second in the East. I think Mullen is going to bring some decent coaching there, and they've got more talent than they let on last year. They're going to win 9 or 10 games. That's what I believe. Interview was solid. Could tell you were nervous. That's the most monotone I've heard you in a minute, says Kerry Bowman. Was I I wasn't nervous. I didn't feel nervous.
You seemed pretty nervous.
I seemed nervous?
Yeah, you were nervous all before the show.
I was nervous before the show?
Mm-hmm.
How was I nervous before the show?
You're nervous. I could tell.
John Goodman says Matt Weisinger. You've never seen. You need to see Cool Runnings. It's on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right, I'll watch it at some point.
It's about Jamaican bobsled team.
Oh, I've probably seen that. I've seen that.
You've probably seen it.
I think I have seen it, but I was like 12.
Well, that was like 3 years ago.
Funny.
John Goodman is a better dramatic actor. John Goodman's a fantastic actor. He's the best actor out of that group, but John Candy's my favorite because he was just in so many beloved movies. The Great Outdoors is on all the time and is terrific. I love watching The Great Outdoors. I thought you did a great job with the interview. I didn't notice anything different. Jay Hammers, thank you. Thank you, Jay. I can always depend on Jay. Jay's probably my favorite here, except for Bonnie and Lynn Rhodes Gilmer and Grace Thacker Good and Steve C. and Glenn Duncan and Micah Halfaker and Jared Mansour. John Candy was in the van on Home Alone. That's true. He was. Home Alone. You've seen
I like
that.
John Candy.
Yeah, everybody likes
I didn't
John
know what
Candy.
he looked like.
Yeah.
Now I recognize him.
Yeah, everybody likes John Candy. You did look pretty nervously excited before the interview, says Micah Halfaker. I don't know.
You did.
I was just fired up. I wasn't nervous. I don't get flustered. I'm Brandon Walker. What are you doing? Hail State from the Valley? I don't know where the Valley is, Tim Peterson. Is that the Valley out in L.A.? Is that Mississippi Valley State? Is that where are you in Hidden Valley Ranch? Where's the Valley? Energy doesn't equal nerves. You're good, man. Thomas Gibbon. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. My name is also Thomas. What's for lunch is the real question. He's correct. Micah Halfaker, what is for lunch?
I don't know.
Landshark's not here to
Haven't
take her
thought of it.
2.5 hour lunch today. So,
Yeah.
where is she, by the way?
I think she's still in Napa.
In where?
Napa.
Oh
Valley.
God, yeah. Don't tell me.
Actually, I
that.
think she might be back. She just took the day off.
She went to Napa in California for 2 days.
Left Thursday night, so however many, 3 days.
Can't hide money, can you?
Yeah, you can.
Roseanne is a terrible show. Even Goodman, even Goodman couldn't make it good. Excuse me. I need some water, but I'm trying to hold off on it. I need some hot coffee from Hot Coffee, Eric Lee. I've never been to Hot Coffee, Mississippi. It's down there. I don't know exactly where it is. Is it around Taylorsville? Is it around that area?
That's a place.
Hot Coffee,
it's like a
Mississippi?
name?
Absolutely, yes.
They have good coffee.
I don't know.
They
I would
better.
assume they do.
They better.
It would be off brand if they didn't have hot coffee.
Uh-huh.
Do we have big running back coming in this new class? Daniel Martin, I believe we do. I think we do have a running back coming in this class. I'm not going to spoil who it is, but I think you'll probably add a 4-star running back commitment to the class in the next 2 weeks. Did you say your wooden bell is from Maroon & Company? Kerry Bowman. Good question. 2 answers. A, it's not wooden. It's kind of a distressed metal there. It is a metal. I put the sticker on myself and then immediately read the instructions that said don't put stickers on it. But this is called the Junction Bell. And, yes, it's only for sale at Maroon & Company. Check that out. Need to get Ben Howland and Vic Schaefer on the show and talk about the productivity of the past basketball season. Micah Halfaker. Good thinking. Although Bill Martin, the SID for football, who helped me get this interview, loves me. The football SID, he loves me. The basketball SID, Greg Ellis, doesn't like me at all. Doesn't even kind of like me. So we'll see if I can get him. Now, Brock Turnipseed, the women's basketball SID, is from Point City. So I should be able to get Vic Schaefer. I might try to do that. Might try to get Vic Schaefer. How far will Ole Miss fall in the recruiting, and how much better in the recruiting polls will State be? Todd Ray. Well, Ole Miss is going to have a good class, and State's going to have a good class. I don't want to spoil that, but they're both going to have a really good class. I think they're both going to finish top 20. As long as we get the players we need to get, I'm fine. Ole Miss will get the players they think they need to get, and that's fine. Then they'll lose some to different places. But they're going to have a good class. We're going to have a good class. There's room in this state this year for 2 good classes. Any word on a new baseball coach, Thomas Gaboy? No word whatsoever. I have been led to believe that John Cohen probably has this guy, and as soon as the season ends for wherever the guy is, we'll find out who it is. That's all I know.
Who's coaching it right now? It's like an interim guy?
Oh, yeah, Gary Henderson. He's not.
Are they playing well?
No, he's not doing so hot. Not doing. They should have won the series this weekend against Auburn, but his pitching decisions yesterday were maddening. So, but at least we didn't get caught by a hidden ball trick, and then at least our media didn't whine about getting caught by a hidden ball trick. How sad is that? How long do you think Coach O will last at LSU? I think he'll be gone after this year. I think they'll fire him. I think he'll go 6-6 or 5-7, and they'll fire him. You say, will they fire him after 2 years? Yeah, I think if it's Ed Orgeron, you're okay to fire him in 2 years. John Emery, the next running back. I don't know about John Emery. He's a 4-star down in Louisiana. We'll see. I don't have Landshark here to do this. I'm just going to go on and on all day.
Follow me.
No, we got to get out of here. I got to go eat.
Well,
So.
It's all your fault then.
Okay.
Oh, speaking of food, I had venison.
Oh, you had venison.
And quail this weekend.
Venison and quail. Where did you have that?
In Texas.
You went to Texas this weekend?
Yes. You knew that.
I
kept asking, have you ever been to Texas?
Can't hide money, can you? How was the venison?
It was actually pretty good.
It has to, venison can go either way. If you have somebody that cooks it well, it can be the best you've ever had. If you have somebody that doesn't really cook it well, it's a very dry meat, so it can get bad real quick.
The quail tastes like chicken. It was good though.
I don't know about quail.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Jessica Balsley could listen to you all day. Could listen to me all day. Thank you very much, Jessica. I appreciate it. But I gotta go rest. Gotta go lay my head down on my desk and pretend to work for the next 6 hours. So they'll continue to pay me, and we can continue to do this. Now we'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll be able to get another football guest for the rest of the week. Hopefully, we'll be able to live up to what we did today. I'm glad you showed up. I'm glad you listened to Joe Moorhead. I'm glad he came on the show. Thank you to Joe Moorhead. Thank you to everybody out there who watched and listened. Until next time, my name is Brandon Walker. You've been watching More Cowbell, the Mississippi State podcast presented by SEC Country.